Hey, what's up, SB Warriors? Paul K here, and today I'd like to talk about getting attention for your business. This is assuming for those who already have a business, who have already taken the steps. Let's get started. Hey guys, if you're like me, you've always had a desire to do more. And deep inside, you've known there's a way and a possibility for you to achieve your dreams, the lifestyle, and achieve the freedom you've always wanted. Because we have what it takes to get things done and learn from others and get the mindset to achieve the dreams we've always wanted. Welcome to SB Warriors. All right, so welcome. So when you talk about getting attention for your business, a lot of times you think about so many advertisements that you're hit by daily. So first of all, you should be advertising. If you're not, let's go ahead and get started into finding platforms so you can start advertising. But assuming you already are doing that, the question is, how do you get that attention? Because if you think about advertisement, like how many times we block out advertisement. And I remember when we were looking for a new car, I would mostly block out advertisements for vehicles because I was like, oh, I'm good. We have a car. We have cars. We don't need any more. But then all of a sudden we had baby number 3 pop up and I was like, oh, snap. And my wife's like, we need a bigger car. And I was like, but. And so, of course, I lost that fight. But once I started kind of going, yep, we're going to get a bigger car, all of a sudden I started hearing the ads. I started seeing the commercials. I started paying attention to that because it would grab my attention, that 0% financing, whatever it was, where it typically wouldn't. So it's like what we pay attention to is what we're kind of looking for. So your idea avatar is going to resonate with certain words, certain visuals. So how do we grab their attention? Because they say we have the attention span of a goldfish, which is about 7 to 9 seconds. So in 7 to 9 seconds, you have to grab somebody's attention. And so in today's space, we're moving into an infotainment era where you have to grab someone's attention by audio, visual, something that says, look, and it makes them pause. And so one of the things I used to resist is like you start looking at other marketing. So when you're driving on a freeway, you see something that makes you look at the ad. What is it that makes you look at that ad? You see, you're flipping through on your social media. You see something that grabs your attention. Why is that? And a lot of times it's usually speaking to you because of the core demographic of who you are. And it could be the heading. It could be the images. Have this, what they call a hook. So a hook is like, hey, boom, hey, I need your attention. So it's like, how do we get your attention? How do we get you to focus for a second away from what you're really intending to do into something that marketer, that company wants you to take a look at? So that's the whole thing. It's like, how do we grab somebody's attention? And one of the things you want to consider doing is creating visuals, video, that infotainment, where you're putting on information, but you're trying to say, hey, here we are. And one of the things is, if you ever look at different spaces and different niches, food. If you look at food, like food will grab your attention because especially when you're hungry. Like you ever look at a video ad of some burger or some steak or something, like whatever it is you like, and you're like, oh my gosh, that you start salivating because we're emotional. We're emotional beings. We are being sold. And so a lot of times people are like, oh, I don't sell in my business. We are always selling. I don't care what business you're in, what relationship you're in. You are always selling it whenever you are communicating. You're trying to convey a thought to change somebody's mindset. And a lot of times you're like, well, that's not really sales. If you've ever been in a relationship and you wanted to do one thing, they wanted to do another, you guys are trying to sell each other. Somebody's going to win and somebody's going to lose. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's just the way it is. So a lot of times I look at dating as a form of marketing, because you think about it. When you're in a relationship, you're putting your best foot forward, and you're not going to say, hey, let's go ahead and just jump in the sack. You are trying to get to know them better. You're trying to woo them to get them to like you. And the same thing's true for your business. Like you don't just go, hey, here, buy my $500,000 product. You're like, hey, maybe we should go have coffee. Maybe we should talk. Maybe we should go for a walk, whatever it is that you like to go to the movies. Grab something to eat. So these are small steps in your process. So same thing's true for your business and advertising. We'd like to indoctrinate them into you so they can get to know you a little bit better and then build that trust. So they go, yeah, you know what? I want to use your company for your services. And so just like when you think about dating, if you've ever been in a dating relationship, there's been something that got your attention about that individual. Well, there's no difference in marketing. There is something that's going to get that individual's attention. And what is it that you can use that represents your business ethically, but yet is a, hey, like, look at me. And sometimes different spaces, different niches have a harder time at it than others. But if you are in a niche that allows you to create great visuals, then go for it. You know, like I was saying before, food does. If you have a car that's in, you know, you're in the auto space, you know, you can use automobiles, something that's sexy, something that's hot, and we are attracted to that. It doesn't matter who you are, innately we are attracted to those things. It's like kind of trying to not watch an accident happen when it does. It's like, oh, you know, you're trying not to look, but you just can't help but to look. And it's just, that's where we are in the space. And so what can we do for moving forward as business owners to continue to grab that attention? One is, I would say, definitely focus on getting yourself out there and learning how to use video. Video is a very important asset for your business. If you can have an identifiable person that represents your business, especially on the small local level, that becomes key, because that person becomes an identifiable person who they're going to be going to and dealing with on a regular basis. So they represent like the face of the business. If you notice, almost every business has that. McDonald's had Ronald McDonald. KFC had I can't think of his name, the Colonel. And so every business that kind of does marketing has some sort of identifiable figure that you can relate to. And so in your business, the question is, can you be that identifiable person? So where you are putting yourself out there, you're getting to grow and to test and to see what works out and to start publishing stuff at the same time. So if you're putting an ad together and you're trying to put in an offer, well, then test different elements. You know, the thing is, what frustrates me is a lot of times people just expect things to work automatically, and they don't work like that. It's like, did you have a successful relationship the first time you started dating? No, you had to learn things to learn how to date. And so the same thing's true for your marketing, because if you may have a segment, you're going to have a few core offers. So you may have a discount for a certain service. You may have another, because you're going to have multiple lines of service. So you're going to probably have different indoctrination sequences to get people into your door for those lower price offers. So if you start off with one and you're saying, hey, wow, this is hitting it, so let's try to change it up. So the next month you're not doing the same thing. People get used to it. So you go to the next offer and you're like, oh, it's not working. Well, there's a few things you have to break apart. Is it the advertisement? Is it the actual landing page where people are going to? Is it the offer itself? So you have to kind of break apart each thing, because it's not simple as people make it sound. Like, oh, you just put a Facebook ad up and you're done. Boom, you're good. You're going to get customers. No, it's not like that. You have to speak to people on their emotional core level in order to get them to respond. Does that make sense? A lot of times people don't realize it's like, well, I can just throw an ad up and it can look sloppy, but it doesn't matter. I put it up there. No, people want to see something that's gets their attention. Today, with like, you look at movies from the 1970s, if you've ever seen like an old action film and you see the CGI, you're like, nah, it's kind of boring. But 1970, that was hot and that was in, and people were like, wow, like the Star Wars back then. You know, people are like, oh, we're fascinated by it. But if somebody today were to watch Star Wars from the 70s, they're like, it's okay. And it's just because we've gotten acclimated and used to CGI and technology being at a certain level. Well, guess what? So are your customers. They're getting used to seeing things at a certain level, and that advertisement space is playing true for your business. So get started, test, tweak, and be willing to adapt, because there's not one formula that's going to work for all, but if you never try, you'll never succeed. So go out there, SB Warriors, push yourself, do more, make attractive offers, and also grab that attention, try different things that are within the limits of your niche. So you shouldn't throw up like half-naked girls eating a hamburger if you're in a totally different niche. That doesn't make sense. Like, why are these girls wearing bikinis and you service like a cleaning salon or something, like something crazy. So keeping it linear is also important, because we don't just need to get attention just to get attention, because it has to translate in each step of the process. We'll break it down more. Keep pushing. Hopefully that makes sense to you guys. If you don't, leave a comment. If you have any questions, let me know if that didn't make sense. But we don't want to, let's just take for example, a car mechanic I used to work with. We're not going to put in something that doesn't represent cars. Like we might put in a cake for somebody who does photography. Isn't going to work the same as someone who's in the automobile business. They're two different separate fields. Somebody who's looking for a photographer for their wedding isn't necessarily the same type of advertisement's not going to catch your attention. Somebody's looking for something with their vehicle. Two different fields, two different attention-grabbing items that you need to produce. So one would be, for a photographer, I'd use great visuals that encompass somebody's wedding, like what a great wedding looks like that dream wedding that somebody would always want. That's going to capture my attention if I'm about to get married. Now, if I'm in the car space, depending on what I'm trying to do, auto detailer, maybe I'm wanting new rims, whatever it is, that is going to look differently when I see something that's sexy, hot, and that car looking really sleek. That's going to capture my attention. And they're two different fields, but you can see how each one has that attention-grabbing elements that you need. Try that, apply it to your business. Don't be afraid to jump on video. Get started, people, and keep pushing. All right, SB Warriors, take care. Talk to you next time. Hey SB Warriors, thanks for listening to today's podcast. If you'd like to get more information on how you can grow your business, we have a free book at sbwarriors.com. Click on the free book offer. It's an advertising blueprint for small business owners to help get their business to the next level. Also, if you like this podcast, we ask that you give feedback on iTunes, rate it so we can help get out the message to more business owners just like you. Have a great day, and thanks for listening. See you next time.